and C as we started things off with bangs. And for Africa Freaks Fatal, it was not a good start to the campaign here, Top.
This was...
Go ahead. No, Ross, you do it. You're Toffee's.
This was a fight that lasted for a long time. They were basically fighting until Circle Free on Potato Hill. Even though that was outside the zone, we did see them move on later on with 2 each live from each team.
Yeah, I mean, they had to fight early, and it was sort of just one after the other. They survived a fight and just run to the next one and lose another guy, and it was sort of like a slow bleeding process for them. Jump over to Genesis, another team that we needed to have a good start today because we hoped maybe some momentum from the end of yesterday would carry over. Not meant to be as they end up going out in 14th place.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Froz. And going on now. Toffee's at the very end there. What do you think about all of this? Oh, it didn't clock it. I can't believe. Oh, what a fail.
Martin just dropped that.
Ah, never mind. Okay, let's on Genesis here. They actually got themselves red cannons, and then AHQ was slowly trying to hold them out, but didn't realize everybody had already died.
Yeah,
anyway.
they didn't see the heal. He actually could have survived that, right?
He could have, yeah, but 4 Angry Men actually took this spot very early, managed to gatekeep all the teams in the south, and they were rotating or micromanaging the zone extremely well there. This push up from AHQ, I was surprised to survive this long. I expected Car to explode a little bit, but T1, they cleaned that up real nice.
It was less a snake and more of an adder. Nice. Catching them off the air as they were trying to come up. Very impressive, though, by Team 1.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, T1 just added 4 more kills to this. 4 Angry Man comes out on top. I do think the key to that win for them was they found Summer sort of hiding in the grass behind them. He could have cost them everything, but once Summer, they caused him to fall, then I think it was
2 on Erangel. We went down to Millie. Avenger.
Overall, this game here, it was a lot of chaos. You see it here from the start. There's a lot of gatekeeping. There's a blue camming. Na'Vi ended up fighting on the western side. There's a lot of overall a chaotic game. And I didn't expect it to go down that kind where we are sitting down with only 11 teams once the circle closes finally on the military.
This could be one of the most chaotic military game we had, considering how early we already knew it was going to be a military circle. We saw a lot of the teams, especially Korean teams, were on the northeast side fighting each other. Gen G, they went for the boats on the east side, but Ghost Gaming already took them early in the game.
I mean, it feels like PO... he's making calls, but it's just everyone seems to be a few steps ahead of him. He brought his whole team on the massive rotation. They waited longer for meds. They went looking for those boats, but they were long gone. 2 other teams had already stopped by to try to get
those kind of moves to me say it's a move that exists in your region when you're going up against the top teams, and then the lower half is the teams that aren't that strong. Maybe you can get away with it. Here on the grand stage, though, Avenger, where you're playing against all the best teams in the world, those moves aren't going to fly.
You have to expect that the density of the circle, like there's always going to be a player once you get into the circle, especially in circle 2 and 3 here. Overall, though, FaZe, they managed to have a really good position for a long time, but didn't get the most of it. Also nice to see from the Rumblers here to gatekeep and effectively make sure that Genesis died, but they fault themselves because they wanted to make sure that Genesis didn't get in, and Infantry punished that very hard.
And that is the win coming in. It's great to see it. Infantry Clan get themselves the win here to start things off for the day. It is game 2, of course, and they need to make up even just a few more points here to try and get themselves in it. 4 Angry Men with the win. But this was one of the big factors early on. Seongjang getting himself this first knock and then into flush and then outplaying up on the top of the building. That was fantastic.
We didn't catch it here, but he pre-naded the stairs on the whole room and then smoked afterwards to reposition. That's such a good play from him.
Very well done.
This pull-up here from Na'Vi, though, nice thinking, but poor execution here. They didn't breach in the same area and didn't push together here on the stairs. There should have been 2 there. Lambo was down to 1 HP. In the end, Africa Freaks here, they managed to take down Na'Vi.
I mean, it was a good Freaks push. Once the firefight started, they used sound cover to just get inside. They didn't lose anybody during that exchange, so very, very well executed. Up on top, we saw Rumblers. They cleared out what FaZe was trying to hold up here, and they had to deal with Gen G from behind. So Rumblers were able to put a couple kills on the board, but ultimately they went out very early and have had kind of a rough day today.
Yeah, I mean, but Gen G coming back a little bit, but it wasn't enough to take it all the way. And I mean, they got a little bit spoiled by Milk towards the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a low-key sneak up from Gen G. They managed to pin them out, and it got them deeper in the game, so congratulations to them. They ended up with 3rd place and 2nd. Genesis fighting inside the warehouse. We saw them bump up against Ghost, I think, in here, and it just became too much to handle.
Yeah, I mean, they were outside the circle. They kind of drew this fight out a little bit too long, and in the end, the blue came to just sweep it up.
Yeah. Ghost got the kills, and ultimately Ghost got the res, and then made the sacrifices. There's no way you cross that river safely with 4AM where they were, so they just took the kills for themselves.
And this though with Milk taking the last kill, but there's three teams that are shooting against Red, and they actually had a really good spot. I thought they were gonna probably win this game here if they didn't get spoiled like that.
I mean, Red literally
in the jungle as we started things off with Infantry Gaming having a little bit of a few pot shots here down on towards the bridge.
Force was a little bit unlucky. They were basically pinching Rumblers with 2 south of Rumblers, 2 north of Rumblers. But the 2 guys on the south here, they got a little bit too late, and they got taken out before Rumblers pushed north for the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, Rumblers got 3 times more than they normally get on this map with 3 kills. So they did put some points in the bank. Yeah, I'd say, you know, PO's improving, Rumblers is improving, I guess, on this map. Maybe it's a good move.
I asked them for 4 points, game it free. I'm happy with that.
That's fair. That's fair. I said, what a 4 men. They've been absolutely dominant. Genesis here, it's opening up okay, but ultimately they just sort of got caught and eradicated. But still, 5 kills, not bad. I mean, when you play Sanhok, it's so unpredictable. Most teams, if you get 5, you go, all right, that was a good game. It was okay.
Sapphire was a little bit surprised, you know. In the bottom, Force, FaZe, Ace.
Well, it's not surprising at this point to see FaZe down there.
Wow.
I mean, they're in danger of rowing down the same road Liquid did at this point. It has been a bad day for FaZe, and they need to clean it up. I mean, we'll get into that.
They're going to pull up. They're going to pull up.
I hope so.
We'll see it. Force they're going to win 2 games back.
All right, you FaZe with the double?
Yeah, hopefully.
Jeez.
Wow.
Okay, well,
It's been extremely dominant. Obviously, we do have a majority. We only have 5 Western teams playing, so we will, statistically, we should see some dominance. But this dominance from China, though, it's been insane.
that's right. Yeah. VC Gaming getting themselves the win here. And overall, after seeing them approach the PGC as a whole over the day, we have 1 more remaining later on.
Whoop.
Where did he go? Oh, he's over there.
Back in
I just want to fly.
Back of the bus.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes,
Rocket Man.
sometimes crazy things happen. And not great for Poppins, but, you know.
4AM was basically just bullying people.
Yeah.
They just want to kill people. They don't care anymore. They farmed so many points. I mean, basically, they said it. The cast said it. They don't need to play tomorrow.
Basically, they actually got 65 points now. Oof. In 5 games.
Yeah, it's nutty. That is nutty. And you know they're going to do well in the next game, too. So
It's insane.
absolutely crazy. I mean, I think it's better than we'll see a lot of the teams who are eliminated probably won't even have that many points at the end.
Mostly, I will say 65 is our hypothetical kind of cutoff, but I think it'll be lower because, again, sponges and everything. Overall, extremely nice play for them. Gen G pushing FaZe and punishing them for the shots that they shot on earlier, as you said, Toffees, when we talked about it. But again, it's not looking good for FaZe, guys.
No,
FaZe is not being FaZe right now. They're playing super slow. I mean, you could see how they were getting held by Gen G and Na'Vi on the north side, and basically nothing came out of FaZe at all.
Here's the reality for FaZe. They have 14 points, right? When Liquid finished their first day of play that ultimately eliminated them from this tournament, they had 13. FaZe is almost exactly in the same position Liquid found themselves after a day of play, with a harder field of teams to deal with, and that worries me.
But again, there are sponges in the top, so their potential to reach top 16 is still pretty open, but they need to show up. They need to give us a FaZe Sunday.
I know GN Intersays get themselves the big points on this game, trying to propel themselves through these groups. It's been a little bit of a grueling day.
I love me some highlights.
I'm here to cover for Toffees with the highlights here as we check in on Genesis. A bad day overall for the North American teams.
And what about for FaZe Clan?
FaZe Clan.
14 points going into Sunday. Rough. Well, that's an understatement. Adder with some interesting positioning. Right?
Yeah, and maybe a little bit hard on Na'Vi. They did have actually a 42-point day yesterday in the AV group, so they managed to collect a few more points in this one as we check back on Genesis, finishing up this fight.
T1 played this well. I mean, you've got to understand, they had a 2-2 split against 2 different teams. They had to deal with Genesis from one side, then they had to deal with FaZe Clan from another side. Best of Lots, of course, and a doozy. It's like that guy when you try to help, but you're just making things worse. That was a doozy there. 4AM biding their time. It wasn't as flashy this game in terms of the early on, but they favored the position, and from there they got rewarded as the game carried on. Best of luck, yeah, as I said before in the cast, give him a nade and, well, anything can happen there for Na'Vi, but when you are playing from this sort of position in the wheat field, unless it finishes there and everyone's in the wheat field, and it's fair game. Otherwise, you are going to be prime target. And of course, the finish between.
You know,
and that was horrible for Wayless, who made it himself.
Bad luck. Bad luck.
Forever
there.
went down. Yeah, look, that was.
I mean, you know, I was a little nervous here at that VC allowed 4AM to push into their compound pretty as easily, really, as they did. But fortunately, things ending up working out pretty well for them as they end up flushing out the 4AM boys before turning their attention over to Entus Force. The Entus Force, Entus Ace, all Miramars belong to these two teams. And you felt 4-strong Entus Force going into this. You felt like they had it.
Yeah, I mean, even down to the 1 versus 2, the two members of BC were relatively low enough that Indigo could have got a quick headshot transfer onto the 2 targets. But BC Gaming, well, they've continued to surprise a few here at PGC. I think it's fair to say not a lot of people maybe even thought they would be in the semifinals, but they pick up